4 versus 4 is one of the most important steps for players to learn how to get to the 11-a-side game. It's one of the most important sizes for the small-sided game structure. In this series of videos, we'll take a look at some of the reasons why that is and hope to explain some of the rationale behind it. The first part, let's just consider this, field coverage. With 4 players, you can divide the field into 4 parts. One player, you can say, look, you play in this half of the field, in the back half. This player can play on the left side, this player can play on the right side, and this player can play in the top half. Now what this does, this gives limited geographic responsibility for the players. They're not responsible to run all over the field and do everything on their own. There is some responsibility and accountability to the players in terms of their geographic area that they need to cover. Now this also happens to be one of the bases for something called the principles of play. Now there are 2 different sets of principles. There's one for in possession and the opponent's in possession of the ball. We're going to deal with the principles of play in possession. Quite simply, they state that a team must have at least one player looking to penetrate to get deep on the opponents. That would be a player up here, the top player. The team also needs at least one player to stay back and to provide some support. That would be this player here. And then also the team will need to have a minimum of 2 players to provide within the attack. Be here and there. So 1 player for penetration, 1 player for support, 2 players for width. That equals your 4 players. Well, let's see what happens if we remove 1, if we can still have the principles of play. Now we have 1 player back, 1 player up top for penetration, but what happened to the width? Well, that's no problem. We'll just bring that player back here. Now we have width. Oh, we lost our penetration. Okay, so we'll just send that player up here, and now we have penetration again, but, well, we lost the width again. Alright, well, we'll just bring this player up there, and now we have a... Oh, okay, so we have a problem. 3 players cannot fulfill these responsibilities. It's impossible. 3 players cannot make a square, or in this case, a diamond. Now, another principle of play in possession of the ball is the principle of mobility, and that simply states that players will interchange positions, and that's very easy to do here. So if the player from the back comes up, this player can then go back and take the spot. If this player comes forward, this player can bounce up here, this player can go there, that player can go there. They're able to maintain the shape and maintain the principles by interchanging positions. Players do not own a position, they simply occupy one. That's the agreement they have as they take the field. Now, this is a very, very static picture. Players are not going to be in this diamond all of the time. As a matter of fact, we could have all 3 back here, 1 up top. We could have 1 player go up, this player goes across, comes across here. Now we're playing some kind of a box. That's all right. This player could come here, that player goes there, and we're playing a 2-1-1. All of these are fine so long as, in the long run, the players remember they have an agreement and they're going to play. This particular formation, if you will, of a 1-2-1 or a diamond is the most commonly used one in 4 versus 4. Now there is another principle. It's called improvisation, and what that means is winging it. Players on their own, coming up with solutions, beating players, doing magic, things of that nature. But there are a good number of coaches that would tell you if you can teach improvisation, if you can teach players how to improvise, then they're not improvising. They're following instructions. Just for simplicity's sake, we're going to forget about this one for the time being, and we'll focus on these 4 principles going forward.